Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. Hope you are having a fantastic day. Listen, it's already the end of January 2025, which means it's time for my very first series of empties for the new year. And we're obviously kicking it off today with my Home Fragrance Empties for the month of January. So before we get into these kind of final mini reviews, if you will, of all of these finished home fragrance products here, let me just give you the usual disclaimer of check out the description box. I will link where you can purchase all of the candles or wax melts or Pura vials that I'm showing in this video. I'll put the links in the description box. There'll be a couple of discount codes down there. There are also some videos that I will just link that might be helpful for those of you that are newer to the home fragrance world. Maybe you don't know what a candle crock or a candle lamp is. I will be referencing both of those accessories in this video. And if you're just not sure what they are, or you haven't used one before, or you don't know where to buy them, or you don't know which one is right for you, check out the Candle Crock and Candle Lamp 101 video in the description box. That might be very helpful to you. Also, there are crocks and lamps listed down there as well. And yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get into it. If you're new around here and you're not subscribed already, I'd love to have you stick around. So make sure you hit that subscribe button before checking out of the video today. That way, all of my future home fragrance related content will pop up in your subscription feed. So, all right, let's get into it. I'm just gonna start grabbing. I'll do the candles first. At some point, I will be pulling out some smaller Pura vials. That might be towards the end if they fell to the bottom of the bucket. And then the wax melts will also be towards the end of the video. So let's kick it off with the candles first. I'm just gonna grab. I'm basically gonna give you guys some final thoughts in terms of how this specific candle, all of these candles burned, whether I really like the fragrance, whether I see myself repurchasing it in the future, whether I think there's anything to watch out for, yada, yada, yada. So we all know how this works. Okay, this first one here is HomeWorx Snow Angels, and this one burned really well for me. So I'll give you guys the inside shot here. The wick clips did their job and extinguished the flames at the end. Not very much wax left in the bottom of this one. This specific fragrance is kind of an interesting fruity and musky scent that is usually released around the holidays or like into the new year. This fragrance, however, to me, in my eyes, is a little bit more of a like spring, summer, fruity type scent. Now there is cranberry in here, which is I think why it's usually released around the holidays. But the notes are candied cranberry, raspberry cream, crystallized milk, and sandalwood. So the sandalwood is what's giving this a little bit of like a woody, musky type of vibe. It's a lovely fragrance. I did obviously burn it during the month of January, but for me, I really think that this specific fragrance could kind of also be a spring, summer type scent. So I don't know. I did enjoy this one. I have gone through maybe 2 or 3 of these. I'll usually get it once a year. It seems to be one that keeps being re-released by HomeWorx. So I imagine this will be available again this next coming holiday season in 2025. So probably pick it up again. It's just one that I'm not like super passionate about the scent. I think it's a good scent, and it's a good like one and done each year. It's not one where I feel like I need to have, you know, 8 backups of like this one type of fragrance, if that makes sense. All right, I actually have 2 cinnamon French toast candles from HomeWorx in this empties in 2 different formats. Obviously this one here is just the regular jar format. I hate these labels. This is something that I keep giving in terms of feedback to HomeWorx is they have some beautiful images that they use on their wraparound labels, but I feel like this white band design that they came up with a couple years ago, I think they meant that to maybe elevate the look of the candles, but I think it takes away from, again, the beautiful imagery that they like to use. So for me, Don't love the packaging of this one, but it had a really good performance. I actually have this little chunk of wax left here that the last burn was a little rough on this one, but I managed to peel that off, and I think I'm actually gonna put this, I have a Scentsy warmer off to the side here. I might just plop this in here and extract the little bit of fragrance that I have in here. This cinnamon French toast is super authentic. It really does smell like you are eating fresh cinnamon French toast. It's delicious. It has a pretty darn good strength and throw, at least both of these did. This one here was poured in 2022, and then this one here, which is obviously this gorgeous like hobnail design. This one was more poured in 2021, so this one is even a little bit older. Both, I think, increased in strength, having stored them for a couple of years each. This is something that I find to be the case with a lot of my HomeWorx candles. Typically in the past, when I've purchased candles in a set of 2 from QVC, if I used, or if I, burned one of the first candles and saved another one for either the next year or a different season, there is to me a difference in the strength and the throw from the first one that I burned immediately after making the purchase to the second one that I saved and set off to the side. Now, I find this to be the case for some other companies as well. I tend to find that with Kringle. I also tend to find that with oftentimes Nest candles. Even Bath & Body Works candles, I think sometimes can mature in strength the longer you let them sit. But I also think there's a fine line of, at some point you should utilize your home fragrance. Now, bottom line is, anytime that you purchase a candle, it should just be ready to go. But if you have one that's a little bit lighter, maybe you want to just set it off to the side and see, if you can let it marinate, if you will, and see if you get anything more out of it. But for me, I find that to be the case. This one burned pretty good, except the wick clips kind of extinguished at different points towards the end here, obviously, so I've got some craters in here. But there was no sooting with this one. There was no discoloration to the wax. It just had a really good burn. The other cinnamon French toast also I would consider it a really good burn. By the way, I am gonna keep the lids to these types of candles. I probably won't keep this. I'll ask Stella if she wants it, but she has a lot of my old candle jars at this point, so I'm sure she's gonna be like, I don't need any more. But I do like to keep these lids now because I do think that they make nice little, bases for other candles. So this, for example, is a Voluspa candle. You could also turn it over, and I just think they make pretty coasters, if you will, that you can put coffee cups or candles on top of. But yeah, I do keep these, but I cannot keep all the jars. I do have someone who periodically will come and pick up all of my old candle jars. This is the wife of someone that my husband knows. I don't actually know this woman personally, but I think she knows that I have, this YouTube channel and knows that I go through a lot of candles. And I don't know if she pours these candles for herself. I don't know what she does. That's none of my concern. If she wants to take all of this glass off of my hands, I am always willing to pass it along. So hopefully maybe this will get a second life somewhere else, but I'm not giving her the lid. In fact, both of these lids here, these are some gold metal lids that I've had for a really long time from HomeWorx. I always tell people, if you have been a HomeWorx fan for a really long time and you have some of these older metal lids in your collection, save them. The newer lids, even this one is a nice metal. We'll come across the lid here in a little while, but I much prefer these original lids. So keep your good lids and throw away the cheaper tinny ones. So actually I'm gonna set these off to the side. I usually like to just soak those in warm soapy water every once in a while to get, because sometimes the little especially this rubber gasket here will pick up fragrances from whatever candle you put this on. And so when you smell the lid sometimes, this very much smells like cinnamon French toast right now, except I know this is not the original lid to the candle. This had a different lid, but I thought this lid looked prettier. So anyway, but yeah, you can soak those and it does get any residual fragrance kind of out of those lids, and that way you can start fresh with a new candle. Okay, so since we were here, this is Voluspa Silver Birch Peppercorn. I did not pay for this candle. I got this one for free with a really expensive Voluspa purchase that I made towards the end of last year. I bought a couple of my favorite candles in their hearth size to be able to enjoy over the spring and summer this year. So Voluspa was kind enough to send me this as a freebie, which very generous, thank you. This is not the type of fragrance that I would naturally gravitate towards. I would have never purchased it, but I'm really glad they sent this one because, like I said, I would have never purchased it. Turns out I did enjoy it. It's a very masculine holiday type of fragrance. Not really my usual vibe, but I am a little bit more open at this point in time to enjoying some different fragrances. Not everything has to smell fruity. Not everything has to be a gourmand. I am definitely thriving on branching out and trying some different fragrance categories these days. I won't lie, I'm still pretty picky. I still don't really like mint. I'm not caramel. I have to be very careful with. Still don't love the eucalyptus, you know, like there's things I like. There's things that I will probably never really be into, and that's totally fine. But I am really glad that I'm expanding my fragrance tastes at least a little bit. I would have never thought to do that in the past, so yay for maturing. But will I repurchase this one? No. But will I keep this gorgeous mercury glass jar? Absolutely. This is their 9-ounce size, and Voluspa actually now offers refills where it's a more affordable way to try some of their new to me fragrances, and I can just pop them into this jar. I love that this is a mercury glass finish, so I'm gonna see if I can get the label off of this one and just, you know, have it be a pretty jar that I can use to put all of my Voluspa refills in. That way I can decide whether any of these fragrances that I'm testing out are going to be worth either purchasing in a 3-wick or maybe even in a hearth size in the future from Voluspa. I love their candles. It's a somewhat expensive brand, but I really started getting into it last year and I'm sold. Like, they're definitely worth the splurge for me. Voluspa has never sent me a darn thing, just so you guys know. I've paid for all of this stuff myself, and I think they're absolutely personally worth splurging on, but clearly, you know, like, that is in the eye of the beholder. You have to decide whether they are for you or not, but for me, I'm a big fan of Voluspa. All right, let's keep grabbing. I have 2 here from Kringle that I burned. I think I burned each of these to the halfway point, and then obviously they are empty now. But what I did once I burned them to the halfway point is I put them in my candle crocks and enjoyed whatever fragrance output was left in the amount of wax that I had left in the jar on a kind of 24/7 basis, if you will. So what I mean by that is, once I put a candle into one of my crocks, I just turn that crock on and I let it go 24/7, if you will, until I can no longer smell any fragrance coming from the wax. Then I turn that warmer off, and if it's not like a super full jar of wax, I will take it out and then I pour the wax out. And if you're wondering what I do with it, hey, guess what? There's a video about that. It's in the description box down below. Check it out. Long story short, I make fire starters because we have a fireplace in the backyard. So anyway, this is the fragrance Winter Crystal. This was a part of one of the last reserve launches for 2024. This is a very perfumey fragrance. And last year, I feel like the perfume scents were like, Kringle was pumping out a lot of perfumey fragrances last year. I'm not sure everybody was a big fan of that. It was kind of a nice change of pace for me because it allowed me to try a different fragrance category that I haven't really gotten into before. It turns out I really do like perfumey scents. Again, not something I would have gravitated towards in the past, but they really had some wonderful releases like in that particular category next year. This one was one of those. It's a very powdery, perfumey, floral type of scent. Not everybody's cup of tea, we'll totally admit that, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed burning it, and I also enjoyed melting it. Another one that was actually part of the holiday collection, and I didn't think this belonged in the holiday release at all last year, but this is Winter Iris. For me, florals are not just something, even though this is a really nice floral, it's a good one, you guys, but florals just don't belong around Christmas time. I have very strong feelings about it, obviously. You can burn all the florals you want around the holidays, but I feel like, you know, we kind of all have our preferences when it comes to that. For me, like, I prefer my florals mostly in the spring if I am going to enjoy them, but I'll also do some like tropical florals in the summer as well. This was such a pretty, again, soft, slightly more powdery floral and quite sweet as well, like a very sweet floral. I had this one in our master bedroom and I loved it, and it lasted over a week. I think I may have gotten like a week and a half, and I had burned it to just about the halfway point. So that's a week and a half of like 24/7 warming, so a constant background fragrance. This is really how I like to utilize my candle crocks. I actually have one that sits over there on that little table. So that's the blue thing that you see at the top right there, that thing right there. That's a candle crock. That particular one is not available anymore. I get a lot of questions about it, and I understand why. It's a beautiful design, but yeah, that one is long discontinued, but I have some other really great neutral options that I link in the description box down below. Moral of the story is I really enjoyed both of those fragrances. I don't feel the need to repurchase them right now, but if you like florals and you like those perfumey, powdery florals, either of those, I would definitely recommend checking them out. All right, here we have, talk about extracting every ounce of wax out of a candle. Sometimes this happens with a HomeWorx, and it always blows my mind when it does happen, because I obviously showed you this one here where there is still a fair amount of wax kind of stuck in the bottom there. Look at this one, like just this little tiny bit there, and then you can see those kind of rusty looking wick clips right there. This was the much beloved pecan pie. No, sorry, it's not pecan pie, it's praline pecan. There we go. I really like this one. I don't eat pecan pie. I don't like the gelatinous texture of the actual pie situation, and that's what this picture is of. So the picture has always kind of like, I don't know, it makes me want to hork, but I do like the smell of pecans, especially if they're candied like they are in this fragrance. So I actually contemplated just cutting this label off because it did have kind of a nice brown colored wax, but I just left it. So anyway, I love this scent. I still have, I think, maybe 2 backups of it. I could save those for the fall, and I might, or maybe I'll warm them over the summer. Who knows? Maybe this will be the year of no rules. Also, I'm really sorry about the fluctuation in the lighting in this video. My eyes are feeling kind of sensitive today, so I'm sitting in front of this window instead of the window that I normally sit in front of, and the sun is kind of coming in and out of the clouds. So bear with me. I feel like you can still tell what's going on. So all right, I have another one of these gorgeous lids that I can use as, you know, I don't know, something, but what was this fragrance? Oh, this one obviously lived underneath my lamp. As you can see, this one was never lit up. You can still see those brand new wicks there. So when you are melting a candle underneath the lamp, you're melting layer by layer, not everything all at once. So I guess a lamp could be good if you think that you might want to light a candle up again, because again, you're melting from the top down versus essentially from the bottom up. With a candle that you put into the crock, you could never light this again because the wick clips that are at the bottom here will become loose. They will float around in the bottom of the jar. And if you have a wick that's too close to the side of the glass here, it can cause that glass to break, thus not only making a mess with wax that could be pouring out, but it's also obviously a fire hazard. So just be very mindful. If you think you want to light a candle again, use a lamp. And then obviously make sure you trim those wicks because they will get quite long. But if you think you are completely done with a candle and you just want some constant background fragrance, then you know, a crock might be a better bet. So, but the key is making sure that you never relight a candle that you put into a candle crock. This fragrance here was spiced vanilla pumpkin. I love it. I think I have 1 or 2 left. It's so good. It's an amazing gourmand. And I do believe that this came back this past year, or maybe it was a different vanilla pumpkin. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember. But this one here was from 2018. That's how old this was, 2018. That's how long I held on to this candle before using it. I'm not doing that anymore. We are burning all of the things because every day is a special occasion. And if I run out of something that I love, there's always gonna be something new that comes out from whatever candle company, and it's just an opportunity for me to, you know, like I said, try something new. There's nothing wrong with trying something new or finding a replacement. Yeah, listen, the world is our oyster when it comes to home fragrance these days. There are so many options. All right, I finished one of these ceramics from HomeWorx. This was from the Elton John collection that launched towards the end of November. Last year, I loved that collection. I ordered multiple pieces. This was the fragrance Woodside Holiday Traditions, I believe. I would look on the bottom and tell you what the label says, but obviously I spray painted this. So mine was green. I'll show you. You can see the green inside. That is the color that I ordered, but mine, the paint job was really scratched up. I'm very particular when it comes to decor pieces in my home. It definitely bummed me out, but I went ahead and spray painted this a gorgeous, like, I used a few different colors of spray paint, but I really liked how it turned out. It was really pretty like this. I hope that this particular fragrance sticks around into this next holiday season here, because this particular scent is a total dupe of the Nest holiday fragrance, which is kind of funny because if you're not familiar, the owner of Nest is Laura Slatkin, who is married to Harry Slatkin, who owns HomeWorx. So I'm wondering if Harry just kind of smelled that in their house throughout the years and was like, I want my own version. And then, you know, released it in this Elton John collection. So anyway, am I happy with how this burned? Yes. Listen, the wick clips extinguished the flames here, so they did their job. But again, this was another case of where they kind of extinguished at different points. So you see a little bit of cratering here where this one stayed lit a little bit longer. There is still a fair amount of wax in the bottom. Could I break that out? Yes, but I'm not going to. I got my money's worth, I feel like, personally out of this candle, because like I said, it burned all the way down to the wick clips. So yeah. But the one thing I will say I was disappointed with is that paint job. I was really hoping that the green would look really good. I thought that that would look really pretty with my holiday decor, but mine was a little subpar when it comes to the paint job. I usually customize a lot of my home decor when I bring it into the house anyway, so this wasn't like that far off base for me. I just wish that I maybe didn't have to do that, but I couldn't stand looking at a scratched up like paint job. It drove me nuts every time I saw it, so I was like, I'm just gonna do it. So, all right. We have another one of these hobnail jars from like way back in the day. This is also well, this one's a 2020, and this is the Country Apple Butter fragrance. I know that I purchased this from QVC, so it came in a set of 2. I think I maybe have 1 more Country Apple Butter left, I'm not sure. This one I did decide to use underneath my lamps, so I melted it, and you can see those wicks were never lit here. They're still hanging out in there. So yeah, listen, great fragrance, a nice sweet apple butter. Not a whole lot to say about it, but yep, keeping this lid here. Would repurchase. This is cinnamon spiced vanilla from Bath and Body Works. Love this one, have loved it for a number of years. Man, the lighting is really sucking right now. Sorry about that. This one burned okay for the most part. I did notice it started getting a little bit like gray in terms of the wax. So I feel like a lot of the residue from the wicks was kind of dropping into the wax, which was starting to change the scent a little bit. It smelled a little bit smoky. So I decided to go ahead and extinguish it at the halfway point, or just beyond the halfway point, and I just melted the rest of it, which was fine. It's a great fragrance. Nothing terribly exotic, but it's a nice one. I've repurchased it multiple times. Here is Christmas Stroll. This is, I burned this one all the way down. This is one of my favorite holiday scents from Kringle. It is more of a fresh, outdoorsy tree fragrance. There's a little bit of coolness to this fragrance. It's not quite as warm smelling as the Christmas scent. So you've got Christmas and you've got Christmas Stroll. To me, Christmas smells like an indoor, like warm holiday tree fragrance. Christmas Stroll smells more like a cool, outdoorsy, like you are walking through a Christmas tree farm type of Christmas tree scent. So both lovely. I think I prefer Christmas a little bit more, but I always have Christmas Stroll on hand as well, so that's gorgeous. I did really enjoy this mercury glass format that Kringle came out with a few years ago. They didn't bring it back this past year, but that's fine. We have a sweet cranberry pie, which I actually burned all the way down. Kind of rare for me to do this. This particular one was from, I believe this is a 2020. What a great scent, but very potent. This is one where it kind of, when I would light it, I could have it lit for about 2 hours before I would go, it's a little too much. Like it's just almost too potent, almost too potent. So like I said, there is a little bit of a sweet spot when it comes to storing candles and allowing them to marinate. This is one where I think it got a little too potent. Also, I should have burned this one at least a couple years ago. For as old as it is, I should have already burned that one. So listen, before we keep going, I'm gonna cut myself off. So I'm gonna have to edit this anyway. So this is just a good natural stopping point. And then we've got some more candles, and then we're gonna get into the Pura as well as the wax melt. So, all right, we're back. I'm gonna keep grabbing. This is Yankee Candle Home Classics Pumpkin and Berries. This was one of those candles that I found just squirreled away in a random cabinet. And I thought to myself, oh, I should just either warm this or burn it, or I don't know, do something with it, just, you know, get it out of the system. I'd already burned it a couple of times, and I went to light it again, and I walked away and came back a few hours later, and I'm sure you can tell that she got quite sooty and dirty very quickly. So then I was like, oh poop, can't have that. I'm gonna need to put this into a candle crock. It did fit into one of my candle crocks, but oh my gosh, this is one of those where it just did not translate. The fragrance did not translate to melting the whole thing at once. It smelled like rancid, almost like yogurt that went bad. I don't know why, because this is a pumpkin and berry scent, but I smelled it and was like, that smells off. Brought my kid home from school, picked her up, brought her home. She walked in the house and was like, what does that smell? That stinks. And I was like, it kind of does, doesn't it? Then I was like, I'm gonna wait and see what Craig says. Craig walked in the house and was like, what is that? That is gross. And that was my cue to immediately take this out of the crock, utilize the wax for one of my wax melts, and just call it a day with this one, because one, couldn't burn it. That's a mess. I'm not burning that in my house. And two, it smelled atrocious when I was melting it. Barf. It was really bad. This is old. This is old. When is this from? Ooh, okay, so it's either 2012. No, I think it's 2013. I'm trying to remember how to read the Yankee codes. I want to say this is a 2013. and Home Classics. This makes me think that I maybe bought this one at Target. Would any of you Yankee people remember where I actually got this from? Please tell me, because I've been trying to rack my brain, but for the life of me, I cannot remember. Also, I've been sitting next to this lid. I don't have the Luxe container anymore. I actually broke it right before filming one of my weekly Home Fragrance Roundup videos a couple weeks ago. I was livid with myself. So this was my spun vanilla sugar that I've honestly had for quite some time, and finally decided to finish up. Well, I was going to film my weekly Home Fragrance Roundup and then dropped actually this lid onto the edge of the jar, and it shattered. It got a big crack in it. I think there's actually still glass in my carpet downstairs. I keep like running the vacuum over the spot where the break happened, and I keep hearing some, like, you know how you can suck things up with your vacuum and you hear like the clanking. Yeah, so there's still glass in my carpet, I'm sure. I need to fix that problem. But anyway, moral of the story is I don't have the actual glass to show you. I tossed that already. But here's the lid. I really wanted to keep that as a hurricane to put other candles in, but obviously not gonna happen with this one. I need to be a little bit more mindful when I am handling those larger Luxe candles, obviously. Okay, this is my Marshmallow Fireside. Delightful. Burned it all the way down. I love Marshmallow Fireside. I'm a big fan, always have been. All right, what's this? Oop, this is Champagne Bliss from Kringle Candle. This was also one of the last releases from Kringle at the end of 2024. I really enjoyed this one. If you're looking for a really fun, effervescent champagne type scent, this one is delicious. By the way, I'm currently, actually just today, starting to test out the new strawberries and Prosecco from the Valentine's Reserve launch. Really good. It's like they took the like effervescent note from this one and then added a really beautiful juicy strawberry note. If you liked this, you're gonna like that strawberry Prosecco, as long as you're into strawberry, right? Just make sure you're into the strawberry part, because that is a big part of the fragrance. But the same like bubbly effervescence that was in here is in there, and it's so good, you guys. It's such a fun scent. I also have some smaller candles here. So I've got a spiced orange and clove from Nest. I was able to purchase a bunch of these backups. It was re-released at Nordstrom Rack of all places. I don't know what the deal was with that, but if it's still available there, I would highly recommend picking this up. I'll link it down below. It's basically an orange pomander fragrance. It is lovely. I would definitely recommend it. Obviously, orange pomander season has passed for me personally, but if you like burning a scent like that year round, if it's still available, I definitely recommend it. These are some Evergreen Roots Northwest candles that actually a girlfriend of mine gifted me when I visited with her over Thanksgiving. Santa's Buns, Almond Kringle, and Cinnaberries. All three of these fragrances were fantastic. Evergreen Roots Northwest is based out of, I don't think it's Seattle. They're somewhere in Washington, maybe in Kent or Auburn. Don't quote me on that, but I'll link their website down below. I definitely want to try more from them. These are soy. So if you're into soy, check these guys out. I am making a mess. And now we get to talk about wax melts and Pura. So the Pura that I finished up towards the beginning of the month, I actually don't have anything in either of my Pura devices right now. But I finished up the Birchwood Pine from Nest. Love it, highly recommend. This is the Nest Holiday. I like to pair one of each together and then have them alternating. So I will absolutely do this combo again this coming holiday season 2025. And another duo that I really enjoyed, this was the one I believe that I had in my kitchen. So the other two were in the entryway, and then the LAFCO Spiced Pomander and again, Nest Holiday were in my kitchen. This is also a fantastic combination here to alternate. I really like my Pura device a lot. I want to invest in their larger like format Pura diffuser. So that is something that I will purchase at some point this year. So I'll let you guys know when I do that, but that's supposed to be better for a situation like my house where it's a little bit more open concept. The ceilings are a little bit higher. I will say, I think that the Pura 4 devices that I do have work quite well, but they are intended for more of like a just like one room type of situation versus fragrancing like multiple rooms of your house. So, but I love Pura. I'm really glad I finally decided to invest in it this past year. Absolutely worthwhile. So thank you to those of you who kept kind of pushing me to try the system. I did like it. Now we have a whole bunch of Scentsy in here. Ooh. Why is this in here? What is this? It's a Honeycrisp Harvest. I love this one. I bet Stella threw this in here. Sometimes I'll ask Stella to bring things upstairs for me, and I think sometimes she just grabbed things that, you know, she's not supposed to. But yeah, this is, I'm gonna be using this. I love Honeycrisp Harvest. This is delicious. I put it in my club for a hot minute, and then I decided to take it out because I feel like Scentsy usually always comes out with a really yummy apple scent every single year. So I don't feel like I need that in my club, but that's a great Honeycrisp. It smells exactly like a Honeycrisp apple. All right, a lot of these are leftover from the holidays. So here we go. Berry apple shortbread. This was actually from the fall, I believe. I think this smells more like a lemon cupcake or lemon cake type of situation. I don't think this smells like a berry apple shortbread at all. This is so misnamed, but it had a really good performance. So I liked it a lot. I would actually warm this in the summer. It's delicious. This is Breakfast Blend. I really liked this one. I actually meant to use this over the holidays, but forgot. And so I used it towards the beginning of January. Delightful, big fan. Cheery Cherry. This was a part of the Scents of the Season wax collection. Cherry isn't always my favorite, and this particular cherry was a little bit more perfumey. Good performance, but not my favorite type of cherry. So I'm not sure that I would clamor to get this one again necessarily. Happy birthday. Now there will be multiple happy birthdays in here. So there's 3. What's this one? 4. Ooh, oh my God, there's a lot. Okay, wow. It was a good month for happy birthday, wasn't it? We went through 4. Happy birthday to me, to my nose, smells like Funfetti birthday cake, but there are other people who think it smells like chocolate marble cake. Whichever camp you're in, it is delicious. I love it. I have 7 bars of it in my club. I will never give them up because sometimes it takes a long time for Scentsy to bring that one back bring back my bar voting. I think they should just have it available year round. It's a great year round scent. I don't know why they don't. But it's not my company, so they can release whatever they want, whenever they want. Okay, this is Vanilla Barnwood. This is a nice perfumey vanilla, a little bit lighter, but I don't mind that with this one because I think it's not one that I think is really meant to be super like oppressive and like smack you in the face. But I always enjoy this one. I've had it a couple times now, and I will continue to purchase it as long as it's available. It's kind of a nice vanilla for the month of January. It's not overly sweet, has a little bit of perfuminess to it, like I said. It's just really well done. Peppered with Kisses, I have 2 of those in here. I did purchase 2 of the Valentine's collections, and I thought I was gonna save this for summer, but I just really have been enjoying it. So I've used up both bars already, one from each of the trios that I purchased. This is a tropical floral. I believe it's hibiscus. That's the floral note in here. But just so sweet, almost like a candied floral. Just delightful. Also, good performance out of this one. Very pleased. Apricot Cloud. Okay. I really like this Apricot Cloud. This is also from the Scentsy Valentine's collection, but this one I wish had a little bit more oomph to it. It's a great fragrance. I just wish it was a little bit stronger, but it did last me multiple days. I just wanted more like projection from it, if that makes sense. but the lasting power was there for me with this one. It's just a beautiful apricot. So just warm and inviting, like a cozy, just a nice cozy stone fruit scent. Love it, big fan. This is Frosted Fantasy. This is a nice one that I actually warmed in the downstairs powder room quite a bit over the course of the last couple of months here. This is a perfumey, almost a perfumey tree type fragrance. It's very interesting. I liked it a lot. It's not something that I would have ever added to my club, but I do kind of wish that maybe I would have picked up an extra or two. That being said, it was enjoyable. Really liked this Merry Wonderland. This was probably my favorite out of this whole like Scents of the Season collection. Loved this one. This has some sweet apple in it, as well as some spice, like, you know, apple spice type notes. So good. Really fresh, juicy, very, very sweet. Good performance. Just delightful. I love this one. Little bit of a regret here, not popping it in my club, but I'm gonna cross my fingers that it comes back this year. This is the Sweetheart Sugar Cookie. This is also part of the Valentine's collection. So I still have one of these left. So this is a sugar cookie note that has quite a bit of like an almond running throughout it, almost like an almond paste. Very similar to the almond in Almond Croissant. But it's not Almond Croissant. This is definitely more of like the sugar cookie with the almond paste, whereas Almond Croissant is very much like that rich, buttery, flaky croissant with the almond paste in the middle. But I really like this. I like it a lot. I think the strength of this one was okay, but I would have definitely liked a little bit more oomph even probably, but that's because it's a gourmand, and I would love for all of my gourmands to just blow me out of the house. We have two more and then we're all done, and you guys don't have to look at this atrocious lighting anymore. All right, Berry Meringue. This actually is still going downstairs in some of my warmers right now. I like this one a lot. It's kind of a musky blackberry. I really like this one. It's almost like they're trying to create a perfumed blackberry, kind of like what Philosophy's Falling in Love is. But it's not quite, it's not super perfumey, but it's definitely not just straight up blackberry. Also, it's not really meringue to me. Like, I would think that this would just be a straight up like fruity gourmand type scent, but it's really not. It's definitely a fruity perfumey scent, but not like crazy perfumey, if that makes sense. I don't even know when I bought this. I just know that I had it in my backup stash and was like, yum, that sounds delightful. Let's pop it in. I really like this Pistachio Woods. I'm not normally the biggest fan of pistachio. I like it, but it's not something that I have to have in my life, right? Like as far as like the nutty notes go, pistachio isn't always my favorite, but this is a nice scent. I really like this one. I actually think this one leaned a little bit more gourmand. But there's also something a little interesting about this that does, in a way, also just lean a little bit perfumey. I don't know what it would be, but I think it might be that little bit of musk that's kind of floating in the background of this one. But it's a definite, distinct pistachio note for sure. So, again, I really enjoyed this one. It's one that I would absolutely repurchase. It was just really, really nice. So, and that's it. That is everything from this first month of the new year. I would love to know what you guys finished in terms of home fragrance during January 2025. I really look forward to, again, kind of digging a little bit more into my backup stash of candles when it comes to the spring, summer stuff at this point. So you'll be seeing a lot of that. But also, I am ordering some new candles. There are some new candle brands that I'm looking to try this year. So I just placed an order with Sniff to purchase their Valentine's collection. I also picked up their like winter vanilla fragrance. There are obviously some new fragrances coming out from Scentsy in the next little bit here. I'm excited to see what they are going to release for spring this year. Always curious to see what HomeWorx and Kringle come out with, and then obviously, you know, for Voluspa, for Bath & Body Works as well. But there are some other like smaller candle brands that I'm also going to be getting into as well. So let me know what you are excited about this year in terms of home fragrance in the comments down below. Really appreciate you being here. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it entertaining or helpful. Again, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.